Hi guys, it's Mary. Welcome back. Today we're going to be using all new makeup. Only one thing did I not buy. Everything else I purchased either from Sephora or from Ulta. Let's just get into it and talk about what's on my face. All right, we're going to start with eyeshadow like usual. And this is the only thing that I have today that was sent to me in PR. I have all these eyeshadow palettes from Alter Ego. I like Alter Ego, and it's been a couple of years ago that I did a review of the Metropolis dupe. I didn't like that palette, and then after I said that, they took me off the PR list. So, I don't know if time has gone by and I'm forgiven, or if, somebody there messed up and they didn't know that they weren't supposed to send me stuff, but they did. The Metropolis one, that dupe, I forgot what that thing was called. That's the only one that I didn't like, and I think that it's just that cream to powder formula that Natasha Denona has. I think that would be an extremely hard thing to dupe. So this one is supposed to be duping this one from Pat McGrath. This is one that I kept. I let go of a lot of my Pat McGrath palettes because I just don't reach for them. But the ones I do like, this is one of them, the original Divine Rose. And I told one of you, because one of you said that you like this, but you don't have this to see. So let's see, does it actually dupe that one, so that I can answer that question and also satisfy my own curiosity. But here it is. Not used it, touched it, or anything. And I'm not going to pull out this from the Glitzy Fritzyville basket, the Wasted and Glitzy Fritzyville basket, because they also sent me their primer. If memory serves, I think I did like this, and I think that some of it was this tiny little doe foot. I can tell you right off, the shade Crystal, and Pat McGrath doesn't have these shades listed, and I don't know them by heart. So we're talking about this one here. There they are. So the first one is Pat McGrath. I'd say that's pretty good. One of my favorites in here is this one, the Alter Ego. It's Mystic. Now, look at my fingers from that first shade. We're not using that. That's why I don't use it. But these two, the Alter Ego is definitely a paler shade. Look at all the sparkles on me. This is why I don't use Pat McGrath. And other eyeshadows that do this. And you might think, okay, Mary, well, that's enough. We know you don't like that. But what you may not be thinking about is that you can't tell by looking at pictures online. And there are some people who have glaucoma and other eye problems that would definitely not want to risk using some kind of glitter or tiny sparkles that could hamper their vision at all. Like Shy Guy, he only has vision in his right eye. Do you think someone like him would want to risk ruining the vision in that one eye? I cannot stand that. Let's look at the peachy shade. Whoa, look at that. This one's Pat McGrath, and this one is Alter Ego. All right, Alter Ego. So this one also tends to be running not as deep a color, but I don't think you're going to notice that on your eyes if you feel like you want to try to get something less expensive. Want to take a few seconds and just look at all the shades together? Why not? I was going to use my Glitzy Fritzy Essential Eye Set. But I know a lot of Pat McGrath people love using goat hair, so I've grabbed this rephr 15. Don't want to search for the same brush to do both sides, so I'm not telling you to do this. But if I go gently, sometimes I will wipe off on my Sigma mat. It's a rubberized silicone thing, so it's not horribly harsh, and change the color. Let's first go into this shade Rare. I'll look it up and put it down here what the Pat McGrath shade is, but Pat doesn't put the colors inside of this. I guess she thinks that'll make it look tacky, and they're not on the outside of this. They're on the box insert. There's an insert in the box, which I find that box horribly annoying and got rid of it. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up what the shades are called. I will use Rare over here, and then we'll use, ooh, I have not set my eye, by the way, so this might drag a little bit on both sides. Just because I have a lot of loose skin, but that's pretty pigmented right there. Okay. Now I'm gonna just wipe it off a little bit, and we're gonna get the corresponding color in the Pat McGrath palette. You can see that the Pat McGrath is more pigmented, and you know, let's be honest, it blends better, as it should be. For what this eyeshadow palette costs, it should be. But I find that a lot of you have told me in the past, and you know, I'm kind of the same way. When you're getting that high up in the price range, I don't mind going in one more time. I do believe this was one of those shades that wasn't exactly the same, but can you tell the difference on the eye? By the way, I don't know. I'll check with them and see if they'll give me a coupon code, but I don't know that they will, because I think they're reasonably priced as it is. I got it for you, and it is very easy to remember. It's Glitzy Fritzy, all one word, all caps. I think I'm going into special, and I'm going to put special right here. I misread that with my glasses off. It's spectral. Inner part. Flip that brush over and come into the corresponding shade in the Pat McGrath, and bring that over here. Yeah, there's no denying that there's more punch to the Pat McGrath side. But, you know, I'll just come in one more time. I mean, you can tell by just using it that the Pat McGrath has more punch to it. But, I mean, they look the same, don't they? Now I'm going to swipe through Radiant and bring it from the middle almost out to the edge of my eye. Pat McGrath side. Yeah, I think they're close enough in color. And like I said, all you got to do is just punch it a little bit more on the Alter Ego side. Let's use the 13 from rephr. Back into Rare. We're going to concentrate that right here on the outside of the eye. Just coming a little bit over the top of that orangey sparkly shade. Just want to darken it up out here. And then I'm going to punch that orangey shade with my finger. Let's clean this up a little bit and move on, because I got so much more to look and play with. Thank you very much, Alter Ego, for putting me back on your PR list. In the Wasted in Glitzy Fritzyville basket, I have 2 primers in here. And we're going to go for this one because I know this one better than this one. So we're going to go ahead and use that today. It's kind of like a moisturizer, skincare. You know, it's got niacinamide in it. It's, you know, pretty good, pretty good. Let's just go ahead and take these off too, so that I can come up underneath my eyes with this. Not using a moisturizer today. I'm using this primer as my moisturizer. What we have in the way of foundation is the Givenchy Prism Glow. One of you told me about this, and then I'm like, I want to try that because I've always wanted to try this. And look at this. This was 30 bucks for this little tiny powder. I've always wanted to try this powder. It's got all these different colors in it, and I got it in the light, but my gosh, the big one must be 60. It's gonna have to impress me a lot to pay this kind of money for the big one. Oh, got no problem plopping down that for Lancome, but you know, I don't know. It just seems like a heck of a lot of money for a powder. Let's open that up. Oh, look at the tiny little I mean, how do you guys use this? I would assume that you mix it all together, right? How are you going to just like get one? I just took it all off there because that seems stupid to me to buy a powder to use one section of this. But I just can't get over this tiny little love. It's not a cheap little one either. I mean, it's got some good cushiness to it, you know. That's the shade that I purchased. And there she is in this heavy duty glass bottle with the Givenchy thing on it. I'm going to do one side with a brush, one side, you know, the first time. This isn't going to be a time test, by the way. It's going to take one pump. Oh, I don't want to come up underneath my eye because I have the new Natasha Denona concealer. So we don't want to go under my eye with this. That looks fabulous. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to play this right against my Lancome Care and Glow soon. I'm going to get a tiny bit more and put that up here because, like I said, I want to use a brush on one side and a sponge on the other. Wow. That looks like a better version of my skin. All right, let's put it on this side. Initially, I really like this. I think this powder has to go good with it, right? It's their own powder. And the way I like to do a powder is with a sponge. This sponge is so dang big. I think we're going to squish it down over here and pick up some. And then on the brush side, we'll use a brush and pack it on my pores. Well, that looks very beautiful. It does remind me of my YSL, but it also reminds me of my Lancome rephr number 30 powder brush into this powder. Wow, that is finely milled. Okay, I'm going to start out here and come forward. What is going on right there? It's like stuck there. Okay, when you do this with a sponge, it's wanting to stick. So this might be a powder that you don't do that with. And by the way, that would be like one of the first high-end powders that I've had. And I just went over my whole face. That would be one of the, see, it's still like stuck right there and up here. So that's a powder you don't want to be using with a wet sponge, apparently. Let me come up here so you can see. I mean, I personally, at this point, I'm just going to say, first impression-wise, that powder doesn't seem like it's worth. I mean, it's a good powder. It's beautiful. But I've got other powders that don't cost that are just as beautiful. And I can use a damp sponge with those. Let me marinate on that while we see how these other products go on top of it. And if I bought any cream stuff, I'm going to be upset. I did. Oh, I'm so mad at me for doing that. I picked this up. Look, it's called Pick It Up. There's our bandana. They stole that idea from me. No. And, oh, look at the packaging. Yes, yes. You guys know I like Give Beauty. All right, so this is supposed to be a contour, cream contour, and a bronzer that looks a little light for me. Ooh, that feels nice. Let's see here. I mean, I did just powder my nose. My favorite one for doing this, I think, is Patrick Ta. She's So Statuesque or something. I love his little bronzer cream contour duo. So I wanted to see if this was as good as that. And like I said, I wish I hadn't done this over powder, but it's also a good test because Patrick's can definitely go over the top of powder. And this doesn't seem to be giving me any issues, although it is darker than I thought it was going to be. Blends nice, goes over the top of powder nice in case you do what I did. What do we think is going to happen if I come into that bronzer? It looks so light. It's actually perfect. Oh my. You don't get much of this, but I think I like it. All right, let's see if we can take care of this darkness under here with this new Natasha Denona Hy-Glam Concealer. I have it in this shade, R2. Rosy 2 should work for me, but that seems really light. All right, I like that real bendy doe foot. Oh, that's kind of light, ain't it? I'm not going to need very much. I just need it right here. That's where I'm dark. I'm just going to put a tiny, tiny bit. Well, so far I like it, but, you know, we have to see. Because a lot of times I'll put on a concealer and it looks great initially. The real test is to go into the bathroom and look in the crypt mirror and see how I look when the light is shining down on me. Because let's face it, everywhere you go, light is shining down on you. I got a couple of new brow products from Maybelline. I got this in medium brown. This could be a mistake. And this is an ash brown. Kind of scared. That's real liquidy. Let's see. Wow, it's dark. Okay, and then this looks too light. This ash brown. It's another micro pencil. That might work. On the end is a spoolie, of course, and the first thing I do when I get one of these products is throw away the end cap for the spoolie. I can't be bothered. I'm gonna comb through here real quick, and we will come to the front of the brow and let's try it. I certainly can draw little hairs, so I like that. And it actually looks like a good color for me. And then I'm going to come out here. This spoolie is kind of hard, so it does a pretty good job of lightening it, you know, smearing it out a little bit. I'm a little bit scared of this. It seems like it needs a tighter stopper on it. See what happens. Should we use this instead of my YSL to clean up? Let's see. I do think I'm used to doing this with a brush or a pen. I usually use my finger, so let's tap it. Ooh, I want to be careful. Careful, that's really a lot lighter than what I'm used to coming under there with. I don't hate it. How does this do? Okay, maybe the shade range isn't that different. It's just that the YSL is not as thick. This is new from L'Oreal. Because of this tip, I can just come right up here and use it as a liner. And I hit a good nude for me. But how opaque is it? Will it cover that brown spot? Oh yeah, that's got good opacity to it. That feels nice. Breakfast in bed. It looks like I forgot to get an eyeliner. So let me do that and then we'll get the new mascara that I bought.
Moments later.
My lips have set down. A little, not a lot. And now we have this new mascara from LYS, which I have not used anything from them in a little bit. It is very lightweight. This is the Lash Confidence. I think it has a curled wand on it. It does. And it is a bristle wand. So, all right, we're going to do that. But let's get some shadow underneath my eye.
A few moments later.
All right, I'm excited. Are you excited? You're excited. I can just tell you're excited. Let's get some of this off here and see how she behaves. I keep forgetting that some of you want me to count. We'll count on this eye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. See, I don't think that this is right because some of these aren't exact swipes. They're just flicks. But where were we? 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I'm thinking maybe it was 30 over there too because they look about the same. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. I want to leave this to Mary Ellen because I'm not real good at it. Probably do another coat and I'm going to do my hair and then I'll come back and tell you my final thoughts for my first impressions of this new makeup. All right, well, we started with Alter Ego and we used this one, the Luster palette, which is like a dupe of the Color Story for the Pat McGrath Divine Rose. And we started out with their primer, which hasn't changed. I remember that I like this and I still do like this. I think it does a pretty good job. What I really like is that very small doe foot. And here, let me show you something. One of the things I don't like about the Urban Decay is the doe foot. It's just too big and I don't even think it should be in there. I think they should have left it a squeezy tube, to tell you the truth. For my lids, that's way too big. And if you have hooded eyes, I bet you're not using the doe foot. I bet you're wiping it on your finger or a brush to use it, because that is just too big. I get it in my lashes. It's just a hot mess. I think that this does a really good job. It hangs on to the shadows. I can tell you that without going all day because I've used it before, right? So I've not used any of the other palettes that they sent me, but you saw that I used this, and I think this is a perfectly acceptable dupe color story for the Pat McGrath. Is it a dupe in the pigmentation of the shadows? Rare is definitely not. I did end up taking its corresponding shade in the Pat McGrath underneath my eyes after I finished my makeup, just because, and over here, just because it just doesn't have the pigmentation of this one to do what I wanted it to do. However, that said, this is not an expensive palette at all, and I think that color story wise, they did a really good job. And if you don't mind using a little bit more, you know, going in an extra time or building up your shadows more, then I think this would be perfectly acceptable for you rather than paying $125 for this. Correction, it's $128 now. And that will cover probably 90% of you. 10% of you is never gonna know because you are hardcore Pat McGrath. And you're gonna know. I mean, you'll feel it when you're using them. But like for me and lots of other people, if you had the opportunity to get something like this, because let me tell you, I've used this maybe a grand total of 6 times since I've owned it. $125 is too much to pay for any eyeshadow, but especially if you're gonna buy that thing and let it sit in a drawer. So in that case, I would highly recommend that you go for a brand like this. And I think Alter Ego does a pretty good job of making sure that their shadows go on beautiful, hang around, look good. The packaging is a lot more luxe than if you were to go to the drugstore and pick up something, and I just really like these kinds of palettes. After that, it was this Givenchy that I've always wondered about, but I just never picked the thing up. And then one of you told me about this. I'll see if I can find the comment. Sometimes I can't find the comment, but thank you. I love this. And I might even love this more than my Lancome. I don't know. We're going to have to take those two head to head. It gives me this very natural, not too luminous, healthy looking, that's my skin, I don't have any foundation on kind of look. And I love this. I didn't do a time test on it, but when I went to take it off at the end of the night, which I'm going to say was about 8, maybe 9 hours later, it was all still there. 100% I love this. The powder though, I am glad that I bought the little one because I'm not going to repurchase this. I like using a damp sponge with my powders, as you know, to get in there and blur out my pores. I thought that the brush did a pretty darn good job. But you know what? I've got more than one powder down there in that powder drawer that gives me this same look. I will try some other powders over the top of this, but I don't expect them to deliver anything less than this did. I do like that whole idea, you know, all of the different colors, but at the end of the day, when you mix them up, it's one color that you're using, and it is more this pink color. One of you just pointed out to me that Huda makes one that's cherry blossom. And the Huda Easy Bake Powder is one of my favorite powders. Price tag's what's going to keep me from buying this. I just don't have to go that high to get a really good powder. So yeah, like it. Won't repurchase. This so far is really good. I thought that it was going to be too light, but it's not. I have it in R2. I think it did a good job of hiding the darkness under my eyes. I didn't have to set it. I think it looks good in the horrible Crypt Keeper mirror in the bathroom. This is the first time that I've used it. So I will have to experiment with it a little more next to the one that you guys know I am currently enjoying, which is this. It's the Bear With Me Concealer Serum from NYX. I don't know, I may put this in the basket to use like on one side and this on the other for the month just to see how that's gonna come out. Whether or not I'm still gonna say, this is the one, or if this will overtake it, but it's gonna have to really do something because of the price tag. But I think that this is a beautiful concealer thus far. Well, this surprised the crap out of me, and I didn't even use a blush today. I think that my cheeks look really good. Just using this bronzer that I thought was way too light. I really thought that that bronzer wasn't gonna do a good job for me. I thought, wow, I have finally bought a light product from a brand that is too light. This one is in Heatin' Up. It's the dual palette from Give Beauty called Pick It Up Cream Contour and Powder Duo. Can't tell you yet if I like this more than the Patrick Ta, which you guys know I love, but the creaminess of this, it's just so creamy and such a beautiful blend on it. I really, really like this formula, like pretty much everything else. Is there anything from Give that I don't like yet? I don't think so. I think I pretty much like everything. This is the same size as their eyeshadow palettes, but you can see because they're smart, they make a different design for this than that. I'm not going to have any problem knowing that this one here is my contour and bronzer. There are some brands that make everything that they have look exactly the same shape, same size, and you got to open it up just to see. I think that this bronzer is just delicious. It's just delightful. It's so yummy. Well, I think that these did a pretty darn good job. So this is the Tattoo Studio, and I guess I can see why they call that tattoo. I like to never got that off the back of my hand. So here's the Essence one that I like. Now the difference is this one has fibers in it. It's a drier formula. It has a much better stopper. This is more liquid. I would say that the Essence is a little smaller than the Maybelline, but this is definitely not too big. I think it did a pretty darn good job. And even though it did have some hold, I did put this Essence Fix It in there, and that holds it really good like this. I would say if you're looking for fibers so that you can make your brow look thicker, this is better, definitely. But if you want something that's just a liquid tint, this, I really like it. I think it looks pretty good. And the pencil goes without saying. I thought that it delivered on those little hairs that you get from these micro brushes. I like this spoolie because it's more stiff and hard so that I can get in there if I've got too much of this and blend it off. I know that the problem that I'm having right here in the front isn't this product. It is catching on what I have underneath it, which was the serum. And that's not the first time that I've done that recently. I really like this. I like it's not coming off. It doesn't come off on my cup. Love that. It does, though, have that stick to it. If you don't like that feeling, you're not going to like this liquid lip. If you apply something over the top of it, like I just did with this Merit lip oil, that feels so much better. But you know, now we're going to have transfer. I mean, the whole reason that you would buy this is so it stays put, and it does. Okay, so thumbs up for that. The last product is this mascara, and I am so sorry. I have loved everything that I've ever gotten from LYS, but I don't love this. In order for you to understand what I'm talking about, you would have to be looking in a 10 magnification mirror while you're putting it on. Before I get into that whole mess, let me tell you, I don't like fingerprints all over everything. And of course, like the Patrick Ta stuff, it's going to get all those nasty fingerprints all over it. But I do appreciate that triangle because it keeps the mascara from rolling across the vanity. So I do like that. It says that 93% of all lash types had no flaking. Honey, I'm getting flaking right now. I've not had this on a day, and I've already got flaking. I knew it was going to do this as I was putting it on. If you put more than 2 coats on, they start clumping the lashes together, which of course I guess gives it that volume, but it doesn't coat the lashes evenly. This mascara, I can see as I'm looking in the mirror here at my lashes that it has mascara here at the bottom, skips a section, and then there's like a dot of it at the end of the lash. And that's all through here. I don't like that. I don't have any kind of a primer on. It flaked up here. It's already flaked down here. It's a hot mess. This is a no-go. Don't like it at all. Have you tried any of the makeup that I used today? If so, do you agree with my opinions or do you think something else? Let us know below. And I want to let you know that you're the best part of the Fritzy family. And if you're not having a blessed day, well, all you got to do to get one is go be a blessing to somebody else. And until next time, love you, see ya, bye. And I'm out.
I am so excited, okay? I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I look like a fool, and I think you like it. Running on empty, who am I to run on dry? Oh my gosh, what happened to my voice? Stop it, Mary, you idiot. Just, why are you all over the place? You're like, all right, well, I picked this up. This is from, it's actually called Pick It Up. I'm so funny. I'm going to be a comedian next year. I think is Patrick Ta. So, and she's so stashed. I think I love you, not you in that mirror. You know? Hello, Peter, you stupid. That looks just like my YSL Power Rangers. It's just delightful. It's so yummy. I'm feeling yummy head to toe. You see me? Ain't got no patience, so let's go. You see me? Gwen Stefani. Yummy. So you get rid of that feeling then. And I don't have that feeling anymore. I've forgotten what it's